Hello Internet, welcome on the Milky Way again. This is another episode where I'm trying to prepare for you in English language. So please forgive me because English is my second language. Guys, I'll tell you one thing. 2 or maybe 3 weeks ago, my friend Marek sent me the photo with this bike. And when I had a look at the picture roughly, I was thinking that this is Ariel Ace. But when I had a look closer, I discovered that it's not Ariel Ace. So I sent a message directly to Marek and I asked him, what the hell is that? And Marek said, this is Harley Davidson. I've just met the owner who built that bike. Guys, today, over here, will be Simon, who is an absolutely fantastic artist, mechanic. He built that machine and I believe that he will tell us a few interesting stories about that nice creature, road beast, I would say. Stay with us and we'll talk about this bike in a minute. Milky Way.
Yeah, let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to.
Just listen, that sweet noise.
It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Yeah, oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins, can't relax. Original, I am not the same as these cats. I sting them if they never ever minded their beeswax. I don't ever cap, but I'm wearing like 3 hats. Never been a rat, but I know where the cheese at. You'll never get a trophy cause they all here where we at. You better believe that. When it's all said and done, I'll still be here standing. Never took a loss and it ain't something that I'm planning. I dare you to say something, my focus is A1. Every dog has his day, it's been mine since day one. This is real grinding, I'm still climbing. While you still trying, I'm still shining. It's real blinding, and I'm getting hotter too. Talking top 2, I'm not a 2. You let the pressure bother you and I do what I gotta do. Let's go hard. I just gotta go hard.
Hey, hello Simon.
How are you? All right.
I'm very well, you?
Yeah, living the dream, mate.
Same like me.
Yeah.
Simon, I'm very happy that you agree to be on the Milky Way today. I've just already said to the viewers that, it's a beautiful bike. Can you tell us a little bit words about this machine? Because I've heard that you create that creature on your own. Is that true?
Yeah, well, it is, yes. I mean, to be honest with you, it all stemmed from, I went to the NEC motorcycle show back in 2001, and on there was a Confederate Hellcat. Now, they were an obscure American brand at those days, and I saw the Hellcat and I thought, yes, that is me all over. I'd love one. And as time has gone on, obviously Confederate Hellcats and everything else are way out of my price league. So it was always my intention one day to build my own interpretation of it. And this is my interpretation of it.
Wow.
Done to a certain amount of budget, I guess, to be honest with you. Still expensive.
Still
expensive. But I can say I've hand-built pretty much every part of this bike myself. Apart from the engine, obviously, that still honour goes to... and the most unreliable part has been the Harley Davidson engine. The starter motor has packed up on me once.
Wow. Wow, this is exactly what I wanted to ask you, because I've just said to the viewers at the beginning of this episode that when I had a look first time on the picture,
Yeah.
I was thinking that this is Ariel Ace because it's quite similar. The
Yeah,
shape
yeah,
is
yeah.
quite
I suppose
similar,
it-
to be honest.
Yeah.
But when I had a look closer, I said no, it's completely different frame. It's not the, so exactly. So only engine is from the Harley Davidson.
Yeah, the only thing on there that's Harley Davidson is that Harley Davidson engine and 6-speed gearbox, and obviously primary and transmission. So that's it. After that, everything else is of my own design and manufacture.
So what about the chassis? Did you make it as well?
The chassis, yes, it was basically I started off with an engine, low mileage engine as this is, and stood it on a block of wood and went, right, I want a street fighter, because everybody says oh, got an Harley engine, it's got to be a chopper. Well, not in my book, it doesn't. Nothing wrong with choppers, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
But I've always been a Street Fighter guy, you know, and even down to my Street Fighter owners, Riff Raff.
noticed.
Yeah, so I've always been a Street Fighter guy, and just wanted to build something different. So I started off with a piece of 10mm tube, and I managed to get a firm down on the south coast who build roller coaster rides. They formed me the backbone for it, and basically I started from there, mounted it on top of the engine, and then just progressed downwards basically. Originally I had straight bars on it, but I found it a little bit uncomfortable. I always build
So you took them
bikes,
off?
yeah, and put some like flat tracker type bars, which I had to modify because obviously it's quite wide, as you can see. But I always try to make bikes comfortable for myself, because the idea is I don't just build them and then show them. I build them, show them and ride them. And I ride them as hard as I can, like, to be honest with you. Or within the limitations of my own skills anyway.
Wow. You know, I really admire people like you, because, you know, you are a true artist, and not just artist, you are the mechanic as well, you know.
Well, I know every nut and bolt of it, that's for sure. I can take it to pieces with my eyes closed, to be honest with you.
Wow.
But I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, if people didn't have imagination and foresight to do stuff, we'd still be dragging our women by the hair and with a big club in this hand. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm not saying I'm trying to, you know, I'm not trying to reinvent anything. I have an imagination, and fortunately, I've possessed the skills, or some of the skills anyway, to make my mind become alive and be able to ride it.
Okay, so tell me something, because I'm curious about this. So,
Yeah.
you had this project in your head. Did you draw it before you start build that bike? Did you draw it on a piece of paper, or you start straight away to build that bike?
I just took
Overhead.
the engine, put it on a block, like I say. Had an idea of how I wanted the backbone to be, and remembering how the original Confederate Hellcat was, which was a similar sort of spar tube in there. Started off with that, and then thought, right, how do I connect front to back? And I made sections out of wood, because, as any bike builder will tell you, you don't have to just think about the piece you're actually making. You've got to think 3 or 4 steps ahead. So although I've got those sections on the side, I've got to figure out how I'm going to connect the footrests together, how the gear linkage is going to work, how the suspension's going to lever, and everything else. And it's also got to be safe, because I'm the one riding it, and I don't want it falling to pieces.
So you said that everything you've done on your own, but you know, I'm very curious, because I see that it's welded very well. You've got that skills as well. Did you do this?
I profess. I'm not an expert welder to this sort of degree, because the tube is 10mm thick diameter. Obviously, you can't just aluminium weld it. It would crack because of the heat dissipation onto coal. Getting enough penetration into the aluminium weld. So I've got a friend of mine who's very skilled at this sort of thing, and we stood there, and I'm with a blow lamp.
So he helped you a little bit.
Yeah. I'm there with a blow lamp, warming everything up, mate, getting it up to temperature, and then he's in there, then welding it all together, and then obviously it has to cool down, and then it doesn't crack then.
Wow, that's an amazing job, honestly. We were talking about this bike a little bit before we started, obviously, recording, and you said that the central spring is modified as well. This is from different type of bike, isn't it?
The swinging arm itself is actually off a Panigale, a V2 Panigale. And then obviously the shock is off also Panigale, but I've had to rejig the way the suspension operates.
So you've changed it completely?
Yeah. I just needed the basic arm, to be honest with you. But I've rejigged all the suspension, the way that operates, the linkage and everything else to accommodate my design, basically. And it works all right.
It's amazing. Okay. It's amazing. Tell us how long it took you to build this bike?
A year.
A year?
Yeah.
And it was just because of the money, or?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Or it was just because, you know,
it
was...
Once I set my mind on something, I just basically, I live in my garage. and I still work, at the time when I built this, I was working a 9-to-5 job. So I was doing a 9 to 5 job. I'd come home at night, walk the dog, feed myself, feed the dog, and then go in the garage till 10, 11 o'clock at night. Telly on in the background, like, and stuff, heater going in the winter and stuff, and hopefully didn't get disturbed too much, especially by the missus, and just crack on with it. And with any bike building, sometimes you can get everything and it'll be spot on just straight away, and sometimes you can build 3 steps forward, 1 step forward, and then 3 steps back. You know, because you think, well, that doesn't work, and so it did take me a little while, but it was quite an ambitious build. You know, I mean, I've done stuff before where I've modified an original frame and things like that. So for me to actually build something that is just the engine, and then to actually build the whole frame and the tanks and everything else, it took a little bit of thinking about, to be honest with you.
Wow. But it isn't your first bike which you built, isn't it?
It draws a crowd wherever it goes. He draws.
So how many of them you've got?
I just
right
wished
now?
I was better looking, to be honest with you, and then a bit of a magnet.
It's a lovely machine, absolutely lovely. You know, eye-catching machine, you know. So it's absolutely amazing. Guys, I have to tell you something, because Simon, obviously, as you can hear, you know, he's got a particular skills, and he's repairing bikes, he's servicing bikes as well. So, you know, in the future, if you would like to build your own machine, just contact with Simon.
Well, it's not. I recently retired from my 9 to 5 job back in February, because I was doing that many bikes for people and stuff, and it was Harley Davidsons especially, not just building but servicing and everything else, and everybody seems to come to me like when they want something doing, and I just thought, you know, I'm 60, I just turned 60 years old.
So you are still very young.
Yeah, I'm still young.
Listen, you've seen some of my episodes already, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got plenty bikers who are over 70 years old and they are still riding, you know, they are still making something with the bike. So
yeah, well, that's right, yeah. So I just do bikes now for other people. I do them for myself and for other people, but currently I'm just doing one for made in stainless steel, as it happens, to be honest with you. But I'm resurrecting it, so.
So Simon, because we were talking about this, you specialize more with the Harley Davidson bikes, isn't it?
Harley Davidsons, Triumph Rocket 3s, but I mean, I've turned my hand to anything I do. I even do stuff for MV and stuff like that, actually. Wow. Bikes that they have problems with and they struggle with and stuff, or Suzuki's or anything really. Engine rebuilds. I've got a 510 brake horsepower turbocharged Beaking at home,
wow,
which I built some years ago, back in 2009.
We will show you guys this bike in a minute. You will see.
Yeah. I mean, I love Harleys. I've got a Buell as well, but I've got an eclectic mix of bikes. I mean, you know, like I say, I've got my Suzuki B-King Turbo. I've got my Buell, I've got a kettle in a FZR 1000 frame, and then my missus also rides Triumph 765 RS, so of course I had to have a 1200, the new 1200 RS, like, to complement it, like, you know. So if we're wanting to go for a flick round the lanes up to Matlock or wherever we decide to go to the Peak District, I've got quite a nice bike to match.
Wow, nice, very nice. Guys, so remember, like I said, if you have any problem with your Harley Davidson or, for example, Triumph Rocket, contact with Simon.
No problem at all. I just work from home, like just an independent person making a living.
Yeah. Listen, guys, it's started raining again, so I think that we have to finish slowly because we really would like to avoid the rain.
I don't fancy doing too much. I don't fancy polishing it again. Once in a month is enough, thank you.
Okay. Simon, thank you very much for that interview.
Hey, more welcome.
Hopefully, we will catch up again.
Sure.
Soon.
Sure.
Because you've got a few another bikes.
Yeah,
so
I've got quite a few. I've got enough for you to make a film. a proper feature film almost, you know.
Okay. Yep. Guys, see you next time. And like I said, if you have any problem with your Harley Davidson, Triumph or other bike, contact with Simon. The link will be attached above the video. Take care and see you next time.
Yeah. Cheers. Goodbye. Obviously that I would just like to shout out really to a few friends of mine that helped me to do some of my projects. One would be Harry from Brightworks, fantastic polisher. if you ever need anything doing to do with aluminium or anything like that where you buy parts, you'll find him on Facebook. The other one is my mate Dennis at D&D Projects, who assisted me in the fabrication, and he's an excellent welder. Can't highly recommend him enough. And thirdly and lastly would be my mate Harvey at Millstone Engineering, who helped me with some of the bigger parts of aluminium that required machining. Without you guys, some of my projects would never leave the garage, to be honest with you. So cheers lads, thank you.
Simon, thank you very much again. You know, guys, it was massive privilege and honor to have guests like Simon in my program.
Oh, nice.
So one more time, thank you very much.
Cheers,
and
man.
if you have any questions about the guys, which Simon mentioned about, just visit his profile
or
on Facebook.
my number's on the business card, so I can always put you in contact with them if you want.
Okay, and now just have a look at that Suzuki. Take care, see you.